Well guys, welcome back once again to another video. Out on the streets of downtown again today. Now the weather in comparison to my last video, now if you haven't seen that video, go take a look. I was really pleased with how it turned out. There's plenty of images to look at and we had beautiful weather that day and I was able to utilise that light, so go and check out that video. But today is going to be a totally different type of day. It's gloomy. It's rained all night and there's heavy rain on its way, so it's going to make for quite a different video, and it's also going to make for quite different images. We've got the colour on the trees now. The last video they were just starting to turn, but now they've turned. But unfortunately, because of the high winds and the rain that we've been having, a lot of those leaves have fallen. So because we haven't got that sunshine today, I'm going to look at images in a different way without the use of that light. I'm going to be looking at fall colour. I'm going to try and frame images utilising that fall colour. I said to you, on overcast and really wet days, colour really stands out in comparison to bright sunshine. Now in downtown we've also got a number of vents on the sidewalk where this steam comes up because we're getting into those colder months. And the great areas to add atmosphere to your images, you can get low down and wait for subjects to walk through the shot, and I'm going to be able to show you that in the first image I've seen because we have got one of those vents just in the background on the sidewalk. So I'm going to head over there now, see if we can capture an image, and hopefully this rain doesn't come too soon. You have to see how I've got this atmosphere coming up off this vent that I've got in the sidewalk, and I want to be able to utilise that. Now a good way to do it is get low down, but I'm also wanting to include the colour in the background. I said to you about framing. I'm going to use that in the right hand top corner there, so it's just going to come over the top of the image, get a subject at the end of the sidewalk, and then we'll have some of this atmosphere to the left hand side. Now what I'm wanting is, I'm wanting to manual focus onto the sidewalk. It's still pretty dark, it's quite dull in here. So I'm going to manual focus at 1.4 onto the sidewalk and wait for the subject to step into that area where I've focused. So this area that I'm at now, we've still got remnants of that fall colour and it looks beautiful, especially because we've got those overcast skies. The rain hasn't arrived yet, so that's great. It means I can get some more shots. Now because it's still early morning, I'm able to create cleaner images. I haven't got as many cars parked up on the side of the road here. I've got some nice yellow, some nice fall colour up above with some of the buildings in the background. But if you notice on the sidewalk itself, we've got these yellow lines. They match the trees, the leaves on the trees. So that's going to be my framing. Now the longer I look at it, I think it works as an image by itself without anyone walking through the shot. The first part of the line framing the bottom of the shot, and then you're going to have this longer leading line leading off up the sidewalk. And then you're just going to have them trees, and you're going to have part of the city that's going to be visible in the background. And I've been made sure to include above the building, so there's some nice detail and nice lines there. In the blank canvas that we've got in the sky, there's no detail in the sky at all. So I've actually just came a little bit further along from where I was previously, where I captured those couple of images. And it was an example of showing you don't always have to have people in your images when it comes to street photography. You can use the framing of the trees, because we've got all this colour, framing of the building, graffiti, anything like that. And just look for clean backgrounds. I said we didn't have traffic, so that made that shot work. If there was traffic up the sidewalk, it'd make it look a lot more busier. So this area that I'm at now is going to be another example of taking an image where I don't include the subject. All I want to do is I want to utilise the colour of the fall colour on the tree above. It's leading in to where I've framed the shot. We've got that nice clean background there, nice white wall. We've got interest where the windows are. I've got these railings coming up off the windows, so that's going to create interest in my mid-ground. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to utilise one of those yellow lines on the sidewalk again. I'm going to have those coming in from the right hand side, the bottom right hand side of the image. The top left of the image, I'm going to include this fall colour. And then you're just going to have the blank canvas in the background, so that's going to make that colour really pop. Now this area I'm at now, there's a load of colour, so I can imagine there's images here. It's probably an area that I'm going to return to. It'd be nice if the trees had the fall colour. I can imagine with the fall colour in the background and then these colourful chairs, it'd make for a cracking image. Well, for the time being, believe it or not, we're actually getting some sunshine in the city, so much for that rainfall. So I want to take advantage of the colour outside this ice cream store here. Now, because we've got this nice clean background, you'll be able to see how these umbrellas really stand out against the wall here. That colour really pops. We've got the seating area, we've got the yellow seats, so that's what attracted us to the scene. Now, because it's quiet, I'm not going to have any people on the sidewalk, and they're not going to encroach on the scene that I've got behind us here, because I really just want to pick out this detail with the brollies, the chairs and that colour. And then further along, we've got a hole in the wall here. We're going to get that light. I'm utilising the light because every now and again you get subjects walking into that building, and that's just going to create some interest. Now it's going to be quite a wide shot, so I'm going to get a bit further out at 35mm. It's more than likely going to be a 4x3, and then I'll make my way to the other side and utilise that light that we are getting for the black and white shot. So I've said to you in the past about retracing your steps and how important it is in the city. It's always changing, that light's changing, and the scenes change at the same time. Now, this location I'm at now, I came here the other week. We had some beautiful colour, like you can see over my left shoulder with those trees, but I just couldn't make them, I couldn't implement them into an image. It just didn't work. Now, because we've had the rainfall the night previous, I don't know if it's flooded in this area, but we've got this huge puddle. I was sitting having my coffee and I thought, you know what, I can make an image of here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get low down to the ground. I want as much of that fall colour in this puddle that I've got in front of us here, and it'll really stand out. Those colours will really pop. And I'm simply going to wait for a subject to walk up the sidewalk. Now preferably I'd like them to have colour. I'm finding today that a lot of people are wearing dark colours, unfortunately. But I'll work this scene and see what I can come up with. Now as for yesterday, we were getting great light yesterday, we were getting some nice spells of sunshine, but that wasn't to last. After I got the last couple of images, the skies turned like promised, and it absolutely chucked it down. And I wasn't well equipped when it came to my jacket, so I decided to call it an end to that day. But I wanted to come back out today. So what I'm wanting to do today, we've got a small window of opportunity. It's supposed to stay dry for the next hour or so. And I want to go back to an image that I took yesterday, the first image, implementing the steam that was coming out the vent. Now I think I can improve on that image. The image worked okay. I had the colour to the right hand side, I had the girl at the crossing. It was a shame that her legs were close together. I like it when you've got separation there. And then we had the steam to the left hand side. But I felt that it was missing something. I wanted to give it more of a fall feel. So I've came back today and noticed around the vent that you've got fall leaves. You're going to have the same setup. You're going to have the person coming across the crossing either to the left hand side or the right hand side, and then you're going to have that fall colour in the right hand side of the shot. So including the vent, showing people where the steam's coming out of, including that fall colour, is going to work better as an image. So I've came to this area here and there's some beautiful fall colour that's still remaining on the trees here. There's some nice artwork down below which is also adding some colour. Now I thought I'd try something different without the inclusion of anyone in the shot. Remember, said yesterday, you don't always need people in your shot to do street photography. This area here, it's beautiful in fall. We've still got remnants of the colour. Some of those leaves have fallen off, but you'll be able to see how I'm able to frame the image using all this colour. There's some artwork in the bottom there, there's some colour on that artwork. It's just a nice simple image to take. Now the only problem I'm having is I'm going to shoot it at 35mm. I want to try and get them buildings as level as I can, and what I've found is I need a bit more elevation. So what I've noticed next to is they've actually got this concrete pillar, and I'm able to stand on that pillar to gain a bit more elevation to try and get those buildings a bit more straight. I can include these branches of the tree because the sky, there's no interest in the sky, it's just grey. So having these hanging down is really going to frame the elements in the centre, which are the tall skyscrapers there. And I think it makes a wonderful shot. It's going to be surrounded by colour with the interest of the city in the background. Now I've actually came back to an area where I was yesterday, where I photographed the reflection of the trees in the puddle, and I wanted to come back here and take another look before these leaves fall off the tree. Now we are getting patches of light and we're getting heavy showers at the same time, so I want to capture this image before the rain gets too heavy. There's so many leaves on the floor, there's a lot of colour on the floor, so I'm able to use that and utilise that as framing. So I'll have the trees above, I'll have the leaves on the sidewalk here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get low down, really close to the sidewalk, and fill the foreground with these fall colours, and then you'll have the fall colours above, and simply wait for the subject to come along. Now, because I'm getting low to the ground, it changes my perspective. It gives you a different angle of anyone that's walking towards us. You're going to be able to see more of them, and it's going to give you a different feel to the image. Well, once again, it's been a brilliant time out here on the streets of downtown Vancouver. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself, even if the weather did get pretty grim at times, but it still made for some great images. When the weather's really wet, black and whites really come to light. They add drama to the images. We managed to capture that fall colour before the leaves leave the tree, and that's just been creating nice framing for the images that I've taken. We've experimented, we've gone back to locations where I've been previously to try and put a different spin on it and try and photograph it differently. But it has came to the end of today's video, so I hope you've enjoyed it. Now, don't forget, go and take a look at my previous video. I was really pleased with the images that I captured. There's some great black and white images there, and it's well worth a watch. Help with the algorithm, give the video a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and I'll see you in the next one. But from here in downtown Vancouver, thanks again for watching. Bye bye.